Welcome to Unit 3, History 103 students. I'm Senya Lubisich, your instructor, and we're going to round out our class by talking about systems. Of all of the units, this sometimes seems like the one that's hardest to grasp. Civilizations, just with the word, we can understand what that means. Empires, we have Hollywood and all sorts of Netflix shows that help reinforce what empires are. Systems sounds more abstract. But really, it's one of the most important parts of our class because, again, these are the things that have endured and that we still participate in today. Part of looking at systems is the idea of universalizing systems. In world history, we're terrifically interested in the patterns of development and the ways that people connect. So systems that become universal fascinate us. The things that large groups of people contribute to and adopt are parts of the ways that we can understand the impact of ideas, of networks, of administration, of technology over spans of time and across cultures. So, to make that a little bit more concrete, some of the universalizing systems that we're going to look at in this unit will be the rise and spread of world religions. Back in Unit 1, when we talked about civilizations, we were looking at very local practices. Now we're looking at religions that are not tied to one specific place or culture. They can be practiced, adapted by people all across the globe, irrespective of their own local culture. So Christianity, Buddhism, and Islam are all going to be examples of that. But we're also going to see more mechanical systems that develop. These are things like long-distance trade, and we're going to spend time in this unit exploring the Silk Road, the Indian Ocean, and the way that those mechanical interactions of people, ideas, goods, commodities, but also disease are going to impact these global systems. There will be cultural spheres, of course, and in understanding these systems, we're going to look at specific cultural spheres as they interact and develop and grow, but also as those spheres that have remained on the periphery interact with the ones that are in the center. So there will be new spheres that develop and appear during this time period in places like Tang China, but also that will follow a very different platform or format of development like the Dar al-Islam. Tang China might be recognizable to you as an empire, while the Dar al-Islam is going to take a new form and really truly be tied to the culture that it is advancing. There's also going to be schism and division within cultural spheres, spheres that seemed very tight-knit and together, like the Mediterranean world and Christianity, are going to go through a schism and divide into entities like the Roman Catholicism and Greek Orthodoxy that comes to characterize the Mediterranean world. And then we're going to get those global systems as we end our class. And I love the global systems. Throughout our course, there's been a lot of ramping up and getting ready for the Mongols. And so finally, in this unit, we get to explore the empire that the Mongols create. And in every unit introduction, I have been reminding you of what? The pastoralists. The Mongols fundamentally are pastoralists, and they are the exception because they are the one group of pastoralists who are going to learn the systems of the settled world enough to conquer it. They will create the largest empire that we consider in this class, and also the empire that follows a whole new structure for how you manage interactions across vast territorial acquisitions and incredibly diverse cultures. The Mongols are wonderful to look at, but they're also going to cause the Black Death, which in and of itself is another system that we need to consider. The interplay of the Mongols with systems like disease will produce reactions and responses, and we will end Unit 3 with exploration. And as we look at exploration, we finally get to a truly connected globe, where you will have the opening of the Pacific, but also of the Atlantic. And we really will have the global systems that world history loves to explore. As we finish Unit 3, you're going to be asked, in your final reflection, to consider our course theme, that from the beginning of history, people have worked in ever-expanding networks that by 1500 came to encompass the globe. Hopefully, these last few weeks of our class will give you a lot of opportunity to reflect on the different networks that began as local expressions in civilizations that expanded through the expansion of empires, and that even when empires left, kept people connected through religion, through trade, through war, through those interactions to create the global world that you and I live in today.